Hello, hello. Welcome to this special broadcast I'm doing to collaborate with all of you as we create our best 2017. How's everyone doing? Say a quick hello if you're hopping in live. Today I'm going to peel back the layers and show you a bit of my process as I plan for a coming year and just my blueprint, if you will, of what I like to do as I prepare and reflect before I actually move into a next level of growth. Just want to see who's here live. We've got Periscope going, and I'm broadcasting live from my personal Facebook profile for the first time, so excited you guys could join live. I have my assistant on collecting questions for me so I don't get distracted as I go. Hey Colleen, drinking Shaga tea. Awesome. That's great. Comment below if you're new to my broadcast. Some of you join weekly for our weekly Q&A we do over on Periscope. We have sometimes we have about 10,000 people that join there live to ask questions around health and wellness and living a beautiful life, which is the topic of what I'm going to take you through today. If you feel that anyone in your community or network might benefit from this kind of conversation, please share left or right on Periscope swiping or share on Facebook with your groups. I'd love to have them join us as we go through what I think will be a helpful template for you creating your best life in this next year. We're going to have an incredible year. A lot of us know this. We can feel it. We've been planning for the kind of year that just is beautiful and successful, and all the work you've been doing up until right now is actually going to come into fruition and abundance in this next year. I believe that for each of you. You know, I'm sharing this with you because it's kind of fun to learn what some of our processes are around planning and reflecting and growth. And B, it's helpful to learn from someone who's living the kind of life that aligns with what your personal vision is. And so if I am that for you, I'd love to share what I do to help grow myself and grow my business, grow my life, and just to feel fulfilled. Tony Robbins says that the ultimate failure is success without fulfillment. And I was reading a quote the other day by Jim Carrey, and he said, "I wish that everybody could become rich and famous to realize that it means nothing." So it's you know, it's interesting when we think about sometimes what our goals are, and we want to look to people who live that vibrant, happy life, and we can tell by who they are, and that's who inspires me always. It's never talk. It's never people who just claim that they, you know, they're millionaires and they live the life and they show the life, and yet there's something that's out of alignment. You can feel it with some people. So the people that inspire me the most are the people who are real and share how they do it, and that's what I'm hoping to provide you guys today that are joining on live. And this will obviously save on Periscope or Facebook if you want to hop back in and catch the recording. To help you determine if something like this might be worth your time today, stick around for the next 15 minutes. I mean, I'm going to go through this info pretty quick because I know we're all really busy this time of year. My name is Ange Peters, and many of you know me as I'm the founder of WholeFit, a holistic lifestyle, health and wellness brand and community that I started about 8 years ago. And I spent 5 years nurturing my community and growing my brand at a very steady pace, coaching thousands of women through those first couple of years through one-on-one and group programs, and really learning a lot from them and what works when it comes to achieving your goals. And then in 2014, my business began a massive scale-up phase as I integrated doTERRA essential oils into my practice, into my coaching, initially with my clients, with my family, in my own body, obviously, and then taking that out to the masses. And I had an initial goal of welcoming 10,000 homes I wanted to introduce essential oils to by the year of 2020. And in 2 years' time, we're just coming up on our 3rd year mark as an essential oil community. Within my WholeFit brand, we have over 20,000 families around the world that use essential oils as their preferred form of rocking their own self and health care. So it's been a pretty wild couple of years, I will say that, and I have learned a thing or two about what it takes to evolve at a higher level and to continue to be somebody who's in growth. I'm 36. I've been with my husband now for almost 20 years. We have 2 beautiful girls, so I am a mom, and I understand all of the limitations, I guess, that come around trying to do it all. We know we can't do it all, but we know we can do a couple things really well. And ideally, as somebody who's looking to be successful in business and life, you're looking at where you can make the greatest impact always, right? With yourself and ultimately to inspire others. So I am a 7-figure earner. And a lot of the operating code that I work out of in my daily life is one that is consistent. It's a blueprint for my success. And I'm going to share my process with you if you're somebody who's looking to up level or grow in this next year. So I'm a zero drama person, as many of you know. I initially, through what I share and how I live, I tend to trigger people who like excuses, and until they're ultimately ready to do their own healing. So I trust that all of you here will take something that will benefit you in your own process. But if anything I say kind of rubs you the wrong way, then that's okay too, because it might be an area where you're growing, and I believe that everything is happening for us. And so even the fact that you're here, whether you found this or it was shared with you, I think it's intentional, and I'm really glad you're here. So leave comments as we go. Like I said, I have my assistant on collecting questions so I don't get distracted as I'm talking. I'll go back through, and on Facebook all the comments save, okay? So I'll be able to go back through and read all through your comments and answer any questions that you have about this. And make sure you stick around to the end. I'm actually going to share. I just came off of a call that I did with my wellness team we went over an hour jamming on 2017 and starting off with reflection. And I'm going to take you through a couple of pieces of that process. But I created a copy of the prep kit that I gave them. It doesn't have all the info in it because I know that doesn't pertain to all of you. But it's a great blueprint if you'd like something to use to leverage as you do your own planning. And I'm going to share that with you at the end of this call. Okay, so I'll post it in the comments on Facebook, and I will link it up in my profile on Periscope because we have about 200 people over on Periscope tuning in right now. So the first place to begin when you're looking at setting new goals and creating the kind of life that aligns with your vision, the first part is to know that everything that has happened up until this point has happened to and for you, because it's actually going to propel you to have your best year ever. Okay? So most people actually go into a new year with zero planning. Zero. A lot of you here live listening to me talk right now, most people don't care about this. They actually go into their life just with hope, assuming, saying they hope things will change, saying, they think or they wish, or they use disempowering words like that, right? And they don't actually have a solid plan that has the right triggers and habits in place to actually create that kind of change. That is most people. So the fact that you're here even caring about this topic says that you're part of a small percentage of people who know that it takes effort and strategy to actually create the kind of change you want. So reflecting on your past year, and if you have a notebook nearby, please grab it, because I'll go through some key points and some key questions that you'll want to ask of yourself, of your life, to really understand the experiences that you've been going through. Marie Forleo, in one of her recent newsletters, mailed out, she was talking about annual planning that her and her team does, and she said it brilliantly. When you look back at your year and you're reflecting, you actually have this like beautiful 30,000 foot view, because it's so fresh. The goals that you hit, the achievements you've had, the challenges, some of the disappointments, they're so fresh, right? And as you're planning forward, it's important to understand why things happened, whether it was exceeded or did not meet your expectation. It's important to know the story. Tony Robbins says that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you ask of your life. So I have some key questions. Would you guys like it if I shared some of the questions I use when I'm reflecting? I gave my team 10, but I'm going to pull out a couple of the top ones. Yeah, this is being recorded. It'll save to Periscope, and it'll be on Facebook if you just click on the videos after, if you want to come back and watch the beginning. So number one, what worked out really nicely for you this past year? So, right away, what was the highlight of this past year? What were the highlights? Like, if you were to look back through your Instagram feed or your Facebook profile, what are some of the proudest moments of this past year? And get really clear on them, and what it took to actually achieve those things. Was it committing to having a higher belief in yourself to experience the kind of growth or the goals that you achieved this year? What were the ingredients that went into that? In what area did you grow the most? So who inspired you? Their success, the people that you look to and that inspire you, their life gives you clues about what it takes to achieve a certain level of greatness in your own life. And so the people that you're actually attracted to and that inspire you, you want to look at, what are they doing? And did those people that you looked to and that you spent time with, did they actually affect your life in a positive way? And if not, you need to find some new teachers for this year and think about the people and start to model that type of success. Here's a good question, and one that I often check in with. And I guess, first of all, how many of you who are entrepreneurs know what you actually make an hour or a minute? Have you ever done this exercise where you work back from your earnings and you determine what your actual hourly rate is? Because this is where you can start to realize that there's areas of your life where you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing. So my question for you is, what is one area of your life where you're doing things you need to get help with, where it's not really worth your time at all, and it actually is on this like lower vibration? Maybe it's something like cleaning your home or doing the lawn or bookkeeping, or there's all these elements in our business where we know it's not our highest income producing activity, right? We know that we could actually get help in that area and therefore open up more time in our schedule to be able to do the things where we're in our creative zone of genius, right? So that's a good reflective thing to look at back in your life in this last year. What were things that you were doing? Where do you need to complete a commitment colonic and wipe those things out and get the help you need? Whether it be to develop yourself better in that area so that you can do it more efficiently. So that could be hiring a coach who is skilled in creative marketing, because maybe that's something that you love, but you're spending way too much time trying to know how to edit a video or how to create a great picture. So it maybe, like for me, that's something that I love to do in my business. I don't want to outsource it. Even though I could pay somebody less than $1,000 an hour to do it, I love it, right? So I don't want to give that up. But I had to, at one point a couple of years ago, skill up in that area so that I could become very efficient in creating marketing for my business, because it was very important to me to have my fingerprint on every piece of info that went out. I didn't want to outsource that. That was very important to me, that the look and feel of my brand, I was very clear on it. So instead of paying someone else to do it, I invested in my development in that area so that I could learn how to do it more efficiently. So I hope that makes sense. There are a lot of things that we do every day where, it's things that we should not be doing with our time, but we feel like we maybe can't afford the help for it. So I want to share with you, I've told some of you, and most of my team knows this, in the early days of Whole Fit, when I didn't have the money to get help with a lot of the other things, I had to get really creative and find time and open up windows where I could do work time, because I had two really young girls at the time. We had just moved to the city we live in, which is London, Ontario. We were brand new there. I knew nobody. We had no family living close to us, so there's nobody I could call and just say, hey, could you watch the kids for 2 hours so I can write a blog post? Yeah, right? So, and it's tough in the beginning when you're building your brand, right? People don't always believe that it's worth it for you to do those things because maybe you're not really making money. So that's a whole other realm, right? But here's what I did. We found a local gym, and we took the kids to the gym for 2 hours of free daycare every day. And I would go do my workout for 20 or 30 minutes. And then I would literally build my business, build my empire from the change room. Naked women all around. I'm sure they loved me with my laptop open, right? Sorry about that. But it was the only help I could get at the time. So I did that in the early days so that I could continue to grow my audience and grow my community and build my brand when I didn't have the money or the means to get help. So I just looked for ways to get creative. And I always like to share that. I want to touch on this for 1 second. Yeah, true hustle, right? So I actually, when people come into my business today, and I have an opportunity where women can come in and become entrepreneurs in the natural health world. They have a heart for sharing the tools that we use, which are doTERRA essential oils, and they want to share it with the world and help people get healthier. But they become their own, they become a business owner through doing that. And some people, it doesn't happen all the time, but some people quit right away when they don't become an overnight sensation or a success. And I actually take offense to it, because I think of all the years that of late nights and doing things like that, and doing 2 hours of work in the gym, in the change room, when other people were just kind of riding the bike, slowly watching the Kardashians or whatever. Like, it's all the things that it takes to build a true brand and success story. And when people think they should just have it overnight, it's offensive, because it almost, it takes a lot of work. And I know a lot of you are in that stage in your business right now where it feels like a struggle sometimes, right? To get people to believe in you and believe in your vision. And you inspire me, those of you that don't quit on that. Next question for you as you're reflecting. What is one area you realize you need to develop in or skill up in? So this is always evident if you're a business owner, for example, and you look at your business and it speaks to you. Your numbers never lie. But if you look at where you wish you could move the needle, or maybe where your greatest source of frustration is in your business, that's an area where you need to skill up. I'll give you a common example. I know we have a lot of people who are building doTERRA businesses here. Maybe one metric you look at is that you had very low attendance at doTERRA's annual convention this year. So let's say it's something you're very aware of. That is a skill, promoting events to your team and creating excitement. And that's what being a leader really is. It's about increasing the excitement and the possibility for your team because of who you are and how you do things. So rather than just mentioning that there's an event coming up, you create a lot of excitement and buzz around it, and it's the kind of thing that people just don't want to miss out on, right, on your team. So maybe that's an area that you need to skill up in your business. Here's a question for you too. What is one area of your life? And again, all these questions are going to be in the toolkit I give you at the end, okay? What is one area of your life you can impact that doesn't align with your vision of your best life? And I'd love to hear from a few of you. Share in the comments, what is one area of your life you're very aware, it's an awareness you have, it's on your heart, maybe it's an area you're frustrated in when it comes to your physical, your emotional, your spiritual, your financial health. What is one area you can move the needle in this year, and that you actually need to move the needle in order to live in a higher state? If you're a business owner, it's not enough to have a great product or a great opportunity to give people. It's everything to be able to live the kind of life with the kind of mindset and health and vitality that attracts people to what you do. Because like Simon Sinek says, people are not buying what you're selling. They're buying what you believe. They're buying you. They're buying a journey with you. Scheduling around your 3 kids, organizing and scheduling, sharing your experience in wellness. I love that several of you shared that you want to up-level in your organization and scheduling, because what gets scheduled gets done, right? We know this. Tony Robbins talks about this all the time. So part of what I'm sharing with you today is about taking what we feel up here, what's in our awareness, and drilling it down to a micro level to be able to rock it out every day, so that your daily blueprint supports your greater vision. I want to pick one last question as you're doing reflection. Okay. What was a story you told yourself this past year that did not serve you? I'm going to wait for one of you to share yours, then I'm going to share mine. What was a story that did not serve your best life in this past year? And it's often it's the talk, the self-talk, right? Periscope says they froze. If you guys are having issues on Periscope, pop over to Facebook. I'm on my personal page. Sorry, one sec, Periscope. I've got to move my phone. Sue said, even better health, not neglecting her eating. Oh, Hallie said that my voice didn't matter. Jenny said, thinking I could do it all. Yeah, that's a big one. Hey, Jess, I have too much pain to work out, okay? Laura said, it'll take me too long to build full-time income. Tracy said that it takes time to progress. Hi, Tiffany. That no one relate to your story. It's too different. Oh, it's an interesting one. Because the more unique and specific your story is, the better you will attract. People will find you. Doing 100 things but nothing at 100%, that's a great one. A lot of you are sharing your story. So I want to share mine. Some of you might share this if you're, let me just line my phone up again. Doing two things at once here. There we go. Ding. So my story that didn't serve me this past year is that I don't have enough time. I found myself constantly telling myself this, and the way this showed up in my life was trying to take too much on, not feeling fulfilled with what I was doing, because I had too much up here that I wasn't able to take action on, and I would be late for things, and I didn't like that. I was always trying to cram so much time into every day. And so I found myself starting to pay attention to the mentors that we all have that show up when we need them, right? And so I came across a quote by Seth Godin, and it said, you don't need more time, you just need to decide. So I started to change my story, and because my story was I don't have enough time, I would remind myself in the moment that I don't need more time, I just need to decide. Right now I need to take action, which led to another article I came across by Tony Robbins, who said there are actually so few leaders in the world because so few people know how to decide. And as I started to have this awareness around decision making, I noticed in life everywhere I was going what an absolute struggle this is for so many of us. You know, I'd be at the grocery store and you see people humming and hawing over the perfect apple, right? Like little things like this all over the place I was seeing where decision making is a skill, where to just do something with confidence and not worry about whether it was the right decision or the perfect decision, but to be in action. And this is something that really started to serve me. So I started rewriting that story, that I do have enough time. But the other thing that's teed up for me, which I worked into my new blueprint for daily success, is my morning routine. I realized because I was trying to pack so much into every day that what was missing for me was this incredible morning routine where I paid myself first before I started to pay out and pour out to other people. And you know, these stories or affirmations that we tell ourselves, we have to be very careful with them, because we want to make sure that they're supporting us, but we want to feel them in our body as we're saying them. We don't just want to say the new story. We want to actually feel how it feels to be living out of that new story as we say it, or that affirmation. One of the things I give you in this prep kit is a link to affirmations for some of you who are looking for some new ones to support you in living your best life. So, but my last question, and it was like a bonus question to my team, is, you know, what is one thing you will do for your business or your team if you're a leader that's going to take you out of the arena of playing small? So how many of you know where in your life you are not showing up as the confident person that you are? You know, we all have areas of our life where we know we could actually give more, and by that I don't mean like giving to the point of depletion, but giving from a place of, we know we're good at this. We all have that thing, you know, if you're telling yourself you don't, again, that's the story. So you have to tune into like what are the things that you do really well. And me doing this broadcast is actually an example of that, right? It's something that I do well. I've always been very organized, I calendar success. I didn't get where I am today by accident. It didn't just happen, right? It was very intentional. I treat my business as a business owner, and I approach my life in the same way. So, you know, that's why I'm sharing this with you today. So like, where are there areas in your life where you know you could step it up and play at a bigger level? That's a really great place of reflection. So as you head into this new year, does anyone know why January 15th is a really unique day? It's not a full moon or anything, I don't believe. I'm trying to see all the questions as they come up. Let me see if I do this. What happens? Here we go. Now I can see all the comments. Okay. I'm not in my home office. We're in Florida right now with the kids, so I'm trying my best on boxes. Yes, Keely, nailed it. I love that you just answered that so quickly. So January 15th is the day that resolutions die for over 90% of people. There's actually research on this, that by January 15th, the majority of people who have made New Year's resolutions have quit on them. So it's interesting to know that over 90% of people experience this kind of death on January 15th of their dreams. And when I hear that, yeah, Liz, that's right, Elizabeth, resolution quitting day. When I hear that, it makes me sad because, you know, we all start off this year, you know, and it's so common for us to look at a new year as being so fresh, and it's our year for really going for it, right? We set sometimes these goals that are so big we know we couldn't achieve them. And so I guess what makes me sad is that I don't think the majority of people who set goals realize that we all have these tendencies and these triggers that cause us to quit. We all have them. So it's actually not about just setting a goal. It's actually about knowing our tendencies and creating a blueprint so that it supports that kind of change that needs to happen, like the triggers that need to be in place. So I want to share with you just a quick process to creating your best day. Something that if you were to take all of your dreams and drop them onto paper, that you could create the kind of day for yourself that in little ways and with consistency is actually going to support the kind of change that you're looking to create in your life. Robin Sharma, I don't know how many of you know who he is. A lot, if you follow Tony Robbins, Marie Forleo, you probably know of Robin Sharma. He's a leadership expert. He talks about 3 powerful daily rituals that a fulfilled person must wire into their daily life. Okay, because he talks about consistency being the mother of mastery, so that to become really good at something. So, and I'm gonna talk to you about the 4 quadrants of health in a moment. Knowing what is most important in your life and to you, because no one else could tell you that, right? You know. But to become a master at that, it's about daily consistency, because it's not what we do once a year or for the first week of 2017. That's not what's going to create your most beautiful life in 2017. It's actually what we practice doing every single day. So that daily blueprint becomes incredibly important when it comes to being able to look back on our life next year at this time and know that we did it, right? We did what we were setting out to feel and accomplish in this coming year. So his 3 rituals, I'm going to give these to you if you're taking notes. Ritual number 1 is early rising. Okay, so if you want to be unbeatable in business and in life, the early bird does not just get the worm, they hold all the cards. The early bird has all the keys to success. They're up earlier than us. They're conquering, they're moving the needle in their business. They're getting it all. So I want you to think about what time you're getting up, and some of you are sharing, you know, I'm such a night owl, how can I change that? That's okay if your night routine is not sabotaging your dream. So for a lot of people, staying up late at night means they're snacking on foods or eating things that are actually taking away from their life force. They're going to bed really late, and I've been there. They're not taking action. Like, I don't know about you guys, but my resources are completely depleted by the end of the day. I'm not at a point where I'm interested in taking action on my big goals at 10 o'clock at night. So if that is you, then your nighttime routine is actually serving you. But for the majority of people, that does not work. Maybe they tell themselves that's what they're going to do, and then they actually don't end up doing it. So we've got a couple really early risers. Ashley said 4 to 5 a.m. girl here. Sue said she gets up every morning at 4:30. So it's surprising, right, when you learn that there are a lot of people who actually are practicing this and probably moving the needle in several areas. Jennifer said, being a night owl is incredible. It's when our creativity is at peak, and for me, it's when I'm most inspired. So that's awesome. So Jennifer has figured it out for her. Her blueprint for success is at night. But what you want to do is you want to look at, is that routine serving you? If it's not, then you likely need to look at a morning routine. Ritual number 2 is scheduling success. So your schedule actually tells the story of what you're most committed to. So have you ever thought of looking at your schedule and letting it tell you what your priorities actually are? Some of you might feel that, you might say like health is your priority number one, but when you look at your schedule, you notice that you didn't show up for quite a few of your workouts, or there's a lot of nights out where you're eating dinner, meeting friends for dinner, and you're actually eating a lot of foods that don't support your health. And so, sometimes we need to look at what the story of our schedule is telling us and be more intentional about scheduling the success in those areas that are most important to us. Ritual number 3, Robin Sharma talks about, is spending 60 minutes every day on your development or education. So every master in any business, and honestly, every person that you all look up to who you would consider a master or successful in some area, they likely consider themselves a beginner. They're always learning, they're always educating, and this is something that I have tried to practice. And when I'm listening to something or doing something that's not requiring my full focus, I often have audiobooks playing or podcasts. I'm always infusing my mind. I love to, in the mornings when I'm working out, be listening to an inspiring audiobook. Always something on the go. And nobody can really tell you what development you need. I'm in the kit I'm going to post for you guys. I give you some of my favorite, most cherished books on leadership and development, so that you can kind of look at that, and I give you what they really help with, whether it's belief in yourself or leadership or alignment and purpose. There's going to be some suggested readings in there, but I encourage you to become a reader, because as Robin Sharma says, every master thinks like a beginner. So if you're always learning and being curious in your business, that's awesome, Lindsay. She said Audible on the treadmill. It's great. I love Audible. So that's going to help to create that mindset of being aware of learning and knowing that there's always somebody who's skilled in something that you're needing, right? And finding your mentors. So what I just took my team through was, after they asked themselves reflective questions. Looks like Periscope is losing some of you in connection. Sorry about that. Again, we're streaming over on my Facebook page if you want to hop over there. My Facebook group, not group, profile. I have a lot of Facebook communities. So after you've done reflective work on this past year, so you really understand the experience and why you had the results you did, whether they were the results you planned for, or maybe you didn't have the results you were looking for, but understanding the why behind it, now you can go into the next year with a fresh outlook. And so what I took my team through was an exercise of dream dropping. So it starts, so first you reflect, and then you do dream dropping. And so I categorize complete optimal health and vitality into 4 quadrants. And in this kit I give you at the end of our jam today, you'll see this wheel. So you can print it off and fill it in yourself. But it basically rotates around spiritual health, physical health, financial, and social or relationships. And what I invite you to do on these worksheets is to think back on this last year. What were 3 things that you're super grateful for in each of those quadrants? So when you think about your physical health, what are 3 things, small or big, that you are pumped that you move the needle in? And start with gratitude. And then literally do a brain dumping exercise where you think, okay, if I was going to have my best life ever in 2017, what would that look like in each of these 4 quadrants? So if you think about your physical health, what are like up to 10 things that if you had or did in 2017 for your health, what would they be? And you write them all out, and you do that for each of the 4 quadrants, okay? Physical, spiritual, financial, and relationships. And then you take that list of 10, and you can't do it all. So you circle 3 of those 10. 3 things that you are committed to doing in this next year that are going to have you feeling very aligned with your vision for your best life, okay? The next part of the process, after you have mapped out what your greatest life ever looks like next year in each of these 4 areas, it's so good. It's so great to do this because you get really connected, very emotionally charged around what you want to feel and what you want to experience, what you want to have. Once you do that, Then you look at logistics, like, events, themes, things in your business, dates, holidays, personal development events you want to attend. You get those things into your calendar. And the reason I'm guiding you in this way is it's important to put your dreams first, to actually map out, this is what I want to see happen in these areas. Then you layer in the things that you know are going to happen. So if, for example, you're in doTERRA, building a business, you can have a pretty good template of when your business is going to go to the next level. Every couple of months, doTERRA hands you this incredible promo that you can just market in your own unique way. Sarah, I'm going to post the blueprint at the very end of this call. I'll post it as a link. So you take all these things and you drop them into your calendar so you can get a real bird's eye view of your year out, what it's going to look like dream-wise and business-wise. You'll know when you need to get out there and be more visible. If you have a great promotion to share with people, that would be the month that you need to be with people more, teaching more classes, doing events, and then following a month like that, that's when you'd want to take it back a notch and nurture your contacts and your team that you've just been in front of in the previous month, right? So it's applying more ownership over what we know is going to happen in our business in terms of trends and leveraging that while we create our best life, right? Because part of this, so many of you are here building a doTERRA business because you want to live a big life. You want to be able to impact people in a very real way through your unique service and love, and welcome people into a community of people who are doing that to support them as well. So it's a powerful business engine for creating an amazing life. That's why so many of you are here. If you're not building doTERRA, maybe you're building your own business in another way. You have your own brand, you have a different product, but I know you're here because your heart's in that same place where you want to just serve others with your gifts in the biggest way. Through doing that, you will be experiencing incredible abundance in your life, which will put you into a position of freedom and true empowerment to be able to be giving back at the greatest level. I'm experiencing that phase in my life now, completely free, a complete advocate for my own health, for my family's health, and for inspiring that in other people. What would your life look like in a couple years to be completely free? How would that feel? Is that the goal for you? To not feel bound by a system or by debt, to not feel indebted to anybody. What would that feel like? What would you show up like in our world if that was your story? And maybe that's your new story. Maybe everything you do in this coming year is supporting that, right? So just to review really quickly, once you've reflected and you're aware of the stories and your results, then you dream, then you write everything out, what you want to feel, what you want to experience in this coming year, and you can't do it all, so you focus on maybe 3 things in each of those categories, and then you make them pretty specific and smaller, not massive things like you're going to pay off your mortgage in 2017 if you really know you don't have the means to do that. But maybe you're paying off your school debt or something micro that would actually make you feel freer in your financial health. Then you review your calendar, you get really specific and clear, and you think like a business owner does, and you plan in the things that you know are going to happen in your business. And you plan in the trends, and you plan in when your team is going to row together towards a new goal. You plan that out now so that, you'll have surprises. Some of you will have unexpected growth in your business, unexpected scale, because you're somebody who's committed to serving at a bigger level and implementing a daily blueprint that supports that. You might have quicker success than you are ready for this next year. That's a good problem though. So the next thing is, as you're mapping out your calendar, you think of where are you going to develop in this coming year? What are you going to listen to or learn or read or attend that's going to help you skill up in the areas you know you need to? So I'll share a couple of mine with you. So I love learning about essential oils. It's something we've just scratched the surface. Like doTERRA, for example, is the largest essential oil company in the world. They have over 4 million people now worldwide that use the oils. They are the highest quality company, and they're the reason so much of the science and research and usage guidelines are evolving. A lot of old info out there. So I enrolled recently in a vintage recipe course, learning more about some of the old school thinking to understand the new school thinking. So I'm always learning about essential oils. And then from a leadership perspective, and actually just getting back to that for a second, doTERRA provides like world-class education on essential oils. So I'm not saying I don't get that there. I love to see the whole bigger picture to understand why some people think the way they do. So I'm just sharing that with you. From a leadership perspective, myself and my team, my frontline team, the girls I link arms with in my business, we're going to take John Maxwell's Laws of Growth course together at the beginning of the year. I love John Maxwell. He reminds me of my grandfather. I just love his teachings. And then one of the things that God's put in my heart in the next 3 years that I'm taking action on now is I want to be very clear on what my life's story is. Speaking on a TED stage is a goal of mine, and writing a book in the next 3 years around impacting young adult women through leadership, love, and belief in themselves. And it's going to have a tie-in to a charitable organization I plan to implement in the next 3 to 5 years around that topic. So I have, right now what I'm looking at as I break that down into a micro level is looking at, okay, what do I need to start skilling up in to support that larger goal? So I'm taking a TED course from the person who created TED, sharing insights from listening to thousands of people speak, listening to Steve Jobs speak and Brene Brown and what their workings were. I want to really understand the craft of speaking very well. So I'm taking that course, and then my husband and I are looking at attending a personal development course in New York this year led by Navy SEALs on leadership in the summer, either that or Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny. I love Tony Robbins, so he greatly inspires me. So anyway, I share that with you because I'm being very intentional about what I'm choosing to grow in. And because of that, it means I'll be saying no to a lot of things this year. As you become more successful in life and in business, you'll be given many, many, many opportunities to attend things. I just shared this with my team. What I have more for myself this year is JOMO. So we know what FOMO is, the fear of missing out. What I want to experience more of this year is the joy of missing out, because I'm so aligned and clear on what I need to be doing to be growing. And that's what I want to be inspiring my team to do. To not just be saying yes to every opportunity and learning all the things and trying to be good at everything, but really understanding, what am I here to do? And it starts with reflection. So if you're here listening to this and you're reflecting on your past year, again, I'll remind you, you're doing so much more than the 95% of the world, because you're somebody who's aware and very dialed in. JOMO. Okay, so this leads me to the last part of this puzzle, and that is taking our calendar, taking our dreams, and taking our awareness of the stories of this past year and creating a blueprint. So I call this my beautiful day. I have it typed up. It's very specific. I don't know if you guys want to hear all the things I do on a daily basis. I'll share some of them with you, but what I do and what I've given you the template for is to block off your day with a morning routine, with whatever time that starts off for you, with an afternoon and an evening. So being very clear on what are the things you're going to do. You want to come say hi? My husband's all sweaty. He's coming from a run or something. What are you going to do in the 3 blocks of your day that on a micro level and on a daily basis with consistency are going to support the buckets? Okay? Okay. So morning for you, and something that became very clear to me, because one of my stories of last year, like I shared with you, was that I don't have enough time. So something that became incredibly clear to me was that I need to evolve my morning routine to create something so beautiful that this night owl will love getting up in the morning for. My hunger is to live the fullest, most purposeful life. But I found myself constantly trying to cram so much life into every day and not getting the things done that I really wanted to. And feeling frustrated with myself. So this morning routine has evolved to what it is now. And so I'll share this with you. Waking up at 6 and I'm working my way towards 5 a.m. I'm setting my alarm every day to be 5 minutes earlier so that I'm within the next couple weeks naturally getting up at 5 a.m. But anyway, yes, Miracle Mornings by Hal Elrod is a great book if you want to understand the power of morning routines. And again, I'm not knocking the night owls. You just have to know, is it actually serving you in your best life, okay? That's the question. So when you're creating your daily blueprint, you're thinking about all the things that are on your heart that you want to impact this year. And you're scheduling very specifically a routine that's going to fuel your vision. Details, being as detailed as possible on this, is going to help the left prefrontal cortex actually believe that your dreams are possible because it can see how it's going to get done, okay? So this actually creates mirror neuron activity in the brain. If your brain believes it's going to be possible, if you want to learn more about this, look up John Assaraf. Mind Gym, I think it's called. He talks a lot about the power of visualization and helping the brain believe something's possible to actually start increasing the motivation around it. So what you're trying to do through your daily blueprint is you're creating a new wiring system. Awesome. So glad you guys are liking this scope. His name is John Assaraf. Assaraf. Talks Neuro Gym. Thanks, Tanya. Anyway, he talks a lot about mirror neuron activity and the power of visualization and how important it is to help your brain believe something's possible, because that's going to help you actually believe it's possible, right? Starts there. So being super specific and visualizing your day going this way. And the other key thing is once you have your day out on paper, all you have to do is honor it. All you have to do is start saying no to anything that does not support your best life through this blueprint, right? It becomes clear what your priorities are. So, you're not going to put things on here that don't mean something to you in your best life. So I'm going to read through mine super quick and share some of the whys behind what I do. And then we'll wrap up. So in the mornings, my sunrise session, I know it's the key to it all. So I know that if I'm up early, I hold all the cards. And I'm in a position to be directing my day instead of reacting to it. I know a lot of you have experienced this too. So right away when I get up, I scrape my tongue, I brush my teeth, and I use my my skincare system that I love called Virage. It's by doTERRA. Completely plant-based. It feels beautiful on my skin. And I make my bed right away. So I do that because it puts me in a state of action and clarity right away in the day. If I have stuff and disorganization around me, that's what's happening up here too. Because I want to move into a session of complete clarity and not having to make a ton of decisions. It's important not to waste your most powerful time, which is in the morning. It's when we have our most powerful thinking, our ability to solve problems in our business. Yeah. Hey, Trace. Yeah, I love that, right? You hold all the cards when you're up early. So that your most powerful resources are available to you in the morning. So you want to make fewer decisions around things that you don't need to be. So like not having disorganization around you is key. Then I put on usually the same leggings and a tank top and a toque. And I wear that almost every morning because I don't want to have to think about what I have to wear. And this is something I borrowed from Steve Jobs. I don't know if you guys know this about him, but he wore like the same black shirt and jeans every single day because he wanted to limit the amount of decisions he had to make so that his mind power was reserved for the actual things that needed decision making. That's high level, right? So minimalism in what we wear and only having things that we love allows us to be inspired and not have to be wasting our powerful resources on those kinds of decisions. So then I go downstairs, and this is before the kids are up, right? My time. So I go down, I drink 20 ounces of water with lemon. I take 2 supplements that doTERRA makes. One's called Terrazyme. It's a digestive enzyme to help complete any cleansing and digestion that didn't happen effectively overnight. And I also take a Mito 2 Max. Mito 2 Max is a brilliant supplement in my opinion doTERRA makes. It helps to amp up the level of communication between mitochondria, which produce ATP, which is energy in the body. So it's not a stimulant. It actually helps to ramp up mitochondria action. Dave Asprey, who's the founder of Bulletproof, a lot of you have heard me talk about him before. I'm actually going to mention Bulletproof in the next point. He's writing a book right now on the power of mitochondria. So I just think it's such a brilliant, oops, there we go. There's two reasons I do this. The first reason is that it helps me eliminate any kind of brain fog that I might have from digesting a typical breakfast like oatmeal or toast with peanut butter or something like that. So the Bulletproof coffee uses basically pure fats into organic coffee is like the engine for it. So you can use brain octane, MCT oil, or coconut oil added to clean butter, grass-fed, pastured butter. It should be really bright yellow. So I personally do a tablespoon of each into 2 cups of organic coffee. I whip it up in my Vitamix. I'll often add peppermint or cinnamon essential oil. Sometimes I'll use shaga instead of the coffee. It just depends on my mood. And that's what I have until 1 o'clock. I pour it into a swell bottle. Yeah, you can use shaga tea, Sarah. I pour it into a swell bottle and I pour a portion from that into my little cute inspirational mug of the day. And I drink that all morning as I'm doing my morning session. Okay, so the second reason I do that is because I want to make less decisions around food. I don't want to be, thinking about what I'm going to eat every morning. It's just so easy for me to implement. It's something I can do before the kids get up. So then in the morning, I'm listening to something empowering and inspiring, an audiobook or a podcast from somebody, or educating my mind. It might be that course I'm taking in essential oils. It might be a leadership training, or it might be an Audible audiobook. I'm doing that first thing in the morning. I'm at my standing desk. I often will respond to email and Facebook messages, only the ones I need to, first thing in the morning, mostly because I don't want to get an instant response from people. That was something that was really stressing me out, as I would take weeks to get back to somebody, and then I'd write them and I'd have like instant response, and I couldn't keep up, and it was stressing me out. So I do that in the morning, only to the ones I need to respond to. I often don't get back to people, and I had to learn to let go of that guilt, because the thing is, you could actually stay in a position where you're just always solving problems for people and never moving the needle in your own life. And the busier and more successful you become, the more people are going to come to you looking for your guidance. And my last 6 months has been spent creating more boundaries and framework for me to go to the next level. So now I'm at a position where I rarely do anything one-on-one in my business anymore. Everything's group focused, because it's not the greatest use of my time anymore to be pouring into an individual. I need to look for ways to bring groups together and for them to feel the energy of a group, so that rather than 1 hour to one person, my 1 hour could go to like 100 people, to impact the greater good, right? So everything I do now is about increasing my ability to use my time in the most effective way. There's a lot of emails I don't get back to, like I said. I have an autoresponder that goes out to every single person that emails me, that lets them know I only check email once a week. They can email my assistant if it's urgent. And I try to process emails right away when I'm checking email. So one key strategy, if you're finding you're struggling with time management, is maybe you're checking too often throughout the day. You should only be checking when you know you could take instant action on that email if it needs it, right? So, because what happens is if you're always checking your inbox, and I've learned, because I've gotten so frustrated with myself, trust me, I've learned that if I'm checking Facebook notifications and reading messages and looking at my emails all day long, it's sitting up here like a stress, because I know I can't get to all those things right now. So why did I even check them? It's like this addiction to distraction, right? So I set up parameters around when I'm checking, when I'm responding. There's a lot of emails I delete. There's a lot that I snooze into next week. And there's emails I folder. There's some, like I said, I just don't get back to. And I mean, what I really want for my team and for people that I work with is to learn to become resourceful. There's a lot of things that don't need to be coming to my inbox. So by not responding to people, it often teaches them to find their information, and that actually serves them much better than coming to me for everything, right? So maybe that's something you want to look at in your own business. Then, again, this is before my kids get up, right? So I'm looking at what's like the 1, 2, or 3 things I could do that will have the most impact in my business. What are the big things, as Mark Twain said, get big work done early, because that's when you have the most resources to dedicate to it. So I will often challenge myself to do one thing. If I think I can get one more thing done, I'll do it before the kids get up, and then I'm fully focused with them for about 2 hours. Doing breakfast, getting ready for school, lunch is prepped, getting them up the door with love. I don't want our home to feel stressful. One of my core priorities is to have a very love-filled, peaceful home. So I don't want anything to get in the way of that. And if I'm checking my phone while I'm trying to prep breakfast for them, I'm not serving them. Aubrey, do my leaders have access to my personal phone number for texting? Yeah, they do, but I don't get back to them right away. So what I remind myself of is we condition people with how we respond and react. So yeah, my front line has my cell phone. I love to get back to them as quickly as I can, but there are times where I might not get back to them for 4 days if they've texted me. And ultimately, I'm trying to teach and duplicate that as leaders, we need to lead ourselves first. We need to know what's most important in the moment. And just because someone texts us, we can't treat a text like all of a sudden that's our biggest priority. Some people, I'm surprised sometimes when I'll text somebody and I'll get a response right away. Maybe just my front line, yeah. I don't really give my cell phone out to my team. I get a lot of Facebook messages. I would say Facebook is kind of makes my chest tight, all the messages that come through Facebook, because a lot of them will get buried. So I would say, and maybe that's like a Canadian versus US thing. We don't use text messages as much as Facebook seems to be used here. But yeah, so I think the bigger thing is I'm trying to teach priorities. And if I'm responding constantly to things as they're coming in, what I'm actually teaching is that I don't have a good level of self-leadership, because I'm treating everything that's coming in as the biggest priority right now. So it's, yeah, it's a work in progress. It's something and it might be needing to go to your team and saying, you know what, I haven't been serving you in the best way by doing this. And I want to create more systems around my time so I can be the inspiring leader I want to be for our team. People don't like it. It frustrates people when you don't get back to them, but ultimately you can only do so much. And you serve people in a way bigger way if you are somebody who actually lives an inspiring life and is fulfilled and creatively inspired and giving back at a bigger level, because you're not in the weeds of your business always getting back to people. It's not what any of us signed up for. I looked at our whole mentoring approach recently, and we stopped doing a lot of these one-on-one calls because we realized, at the end of the day, if your goal is to keep growing in your business, how will you ever become a presidential diamond leader or the highest rank in your company, whatever that is? How will you ever get there if your current system is to be doing one-on-one calls with everybody that wants to do the business with you or says they are? Really, this business model needs to evolve into something that anybody can come in and do at their own pace and not feel like their success is dependent on you as a leader. Every single person's success in this business is dependent on themselves, not their upline, not their downline. And not everyone shares my point of view. This is what works for me, because what I want most for my team is to feel freedom in their time and in their business and to feel inspired. That is what matters most to me. So because of that, I have to operate from that place and teach them what that looks like. And sometimes it's letting go of that fear that they may think I'm not a good leader because I don't text them back right away. What I want them to realize is that I'm actually serving them in a bigger way by not doing that. So after the kids have gone off to school, coming back to my daily blueprint, I clean up the house. I tidy the house so everything's organized in the way that I want to function and live. I pull out any items I'm going to be making for dinner. Maybe that's a frozen crock pot meal. Maybe that's washing fruits and veggies that we're going to have for dinner. I kind of get that prepped, and then I move into my mid part of my day. So now we're looking at a window from like 10 to 4. And I don't quite dive into my work yet. So what I do now is I will often, around 10 o'clock, I'll put whatever inspiration and goodness I want to into my world at that time. So I'll often post something to Instagram. You'll likely see posts from me around that time every morning. I will post to my essential oil community groups. I'll post to my business team. I might post to my Whole Fit brand page, whatever I need to do to share what's on my heart in that day and inspire, lift the vibration of our world in whatever way feels aligned for me that day. And then I'll go into a workout. So now it's usually around 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'll slip downstairs. I'll move my body for 20 to 30 minutes. I crank the music super loud. I love music. It shifts me so quickly. to move into a place of pouring out. So again, this is all teeing up. What I'm doing in the morning is paying myself first. I'm taking good care of myself, then I take great care of my kids, and then I'm ready to pour into my inner circle. So that's after I work out, I shower, I make myself feel pretty. So I'm feeling inspired, and whatever that looks like for you, we're all different. I'm often still wearing leggings and look like this in my office, as I look today. But I feel my best like this, right? So that's what I do. And I make a smoothie most days, high protein. This is when I'm introducing protein and carbs into my day. I'll make a smoothie. I'll take my supplements. So I'm taking doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality, PB Assist, and oh my gosh, what am I missing? DDR Prime. So I'll take those at lunch with my smoothie, and then I'm kind of like snacking and noshing on veggies and things throughout the day, and I'm eating, majority of my food is between 1 to 9 every day. So then I move into my office, and I roll up to my standing desk. I often am sitting in the afternoons. I usually do standing work in the morning, sitting in the afternoon. This is when I do a lot of my group work, my group pour out. So this is when you'll see me on Facebook Live, Periscope, doing group mentoring. I might be hopping on with a new silver on our team and their new elites and doing a group mentor call. I rarely do one-on-one anymore. It's just been a necessary part of my evolution. So, and then I also, on Wednesdays and Fridays, I often leave my office. I'll go shopping, or I'll go to a local bookstore, or I'll go to like a home goods store and buy some pretty things for my home, because I love it. And you know what? It inspires me. I love walking the mall and just getting out of my office. And I often do that on Wednesday and Friday afternoons, or I'll meet a friend for a late lunch, somebody who inspires me that I love. So I block off that time in my calendar. I also, on Saturday afternoons, I'll just share this, I have a folder on my email that I drop any cool sales, or like I love like Anthropologie and Lululemon, and I'll drop emails from them into this folder. And Saturday afternoons I make myself like a delicious drink, a tea or something, and I'll look through and do some online shopping. I just thought I'd throw that out there. It's a way that I avoid getting stuck into the tunnel of reading every email that comes in. Sarah, my high protein smoothie recipe, so I often use doTERRA's either their V-Shake or their Trim Shake. I do 2 scoops, so that's between 16 to 20 grams of protein. With almond milk, a couple handfuls of greens, like spinach is my favorite, organic spinach. It blends up really nicely. And I'll add half of a frozen banana and 1 or 2 drops of lemon essential oil. And that's almost my daily smoothie. Super cleansing, and it gives me a really great baseline after my workout. And not baseline, it helps refuel me after my workout, but it kind of helps me ease my way into eating foods after I've spent more of the morning not. So that's my smoothie. What I do before the kids get home from school, and again, I'm so specific, right? This is what the only reason I'm sharing this with you is not because I know you're going to have the same kind of day as me. I'm sharing this because I like to be super clear. And when I was first implementing new success formulas for my day, I would actually calendar a lot of these things into my calendaring system. So my Google Calendar would say things like make the beds, or work out and shower, or smoothie time, or whatever I needed to do until it became a daily habit. You have to spend a couple of weeks usually creating that consistency and discipline. So yeah, so what I do is before the kids get home from school, I prep the after school snack, and I get dinner prep pretty well done at that point. I also make a list for tomorrow. This is a key success tip. So I'll look over my list of anything I didn't get done today. I delete things that don't need to be on there, and I circle anything that I need to get done tomorrow morning during my morning session. And I look at my calendar, look at appointments, anything that I have scheduled. I regularly look at my schedule and take things off because time, I'm very aware of this. I don't know how many of you feel this way, but time for me is my greatest asset. I would buy pockets of time if I could. So my goal is not more money. My goal is to create a life where my time is being leveraged in the best way possible. So my blueprint for my day supports that goal. Dinner, so the evening block for me, 4 to 9, homework with the kids, make dinner, supplements with my dinner. My phone goes on airplane mode at 9 o'clock, or we shut off the Wi-Fi in the house. I have a tea, and I take a couple more supplements from doTERRA. At nighttime, I take the Bone Nutrient Complex and the Phyto. I love it. It's brilliant for women. And then a few nights a week, I'll stay up a little bit later. Often it's the 2 nights a week. My husband, he works full-time at the fire hall, and he works 24-hour shifts. So usually on those nights, I'll do a little bit of creative work at night, and or I'll look through anything I've saved on Facebook Live. I control what I see on Facebook, so I only see things from people I want to see from. I don't know if you guys know you can do that. And when I see something cool posted by people I love, like a webinar or a podcast or something that's been posted, I'll save it, and a couple nights a week I'll go through and I'll watch what I saved on there. And that's it. So my blueprint serves me. Now, what brought me to the place in life I am today obviously didn't look like this. This is a constant evolution with a goal of living a beautiful life, and through that inspiring other people to do the same. And you have to know that there's seasons with everything, right? So you have times in your business when you know you need to step it up, when you're in hustle mode, and you know, like if I look back 2 years ago, I was teaching 3 to 4 essential oil classes every single week. I was out of my home quite a bit because my business needed that of me. We grew very fast, and so I had a good 2 years where that was what that took. And what really got me through those tougher weeks of, and when I first started doTERRA, I didn't have, nothing else on my plate. I had a full-time business brand where I was coaching women, and I had to evolve as that grew. And it's this constant state of evolution. And at the other end of it, where I am today, this blueprint serves my best life, and it's what supports my goals in health, in our financial wellness, in my spiritual health, in my relationships. It serves me in that best way. And so that's why I'm super specific with what I want each day to look like. And it's why I have the joy of missing out on a lot of things that some people might consider, necessary things. I'm very clear on what I need to be doing with my time at this point, only because I've lived through times that were, I guess, more frustrating in that sense. So I'm going to wrap up. I actually didn't intend to go this long. I've been talking now for probably 2 hours because I led a group session with my team just before this. But what I'm going to do is, as soon as I hop off here, I'm going to go through any of your questions, if you guys posted any questions on Facebook Live. And I'm going to I made a copy of my 2017 prep kit for all of you. So I really love and adore you all for joining this kind of a call, because I love to surround myself with people who really get it, who are very committed to living their life in a different way. And I'm inspired by all of you and what you're creating, and the fact that you're impacting other people in a huge way through the kinds of leaders you are. And you're a leader if you're somebody who is living life on purpose and not living life the way you're told or the way someone else expects you to live. You're a leader if you're doing those things, and you're going to find yourself having a greater level of leadership in this year because you are leading yourself first. And I'm inspired by you for doing that. I love you for it, because you make our world better. And there are a lot of people who talk the talk, and people like you that show up for a topic like this. Your walk is in alignment, and I love that. So thank you for joining live. Do you guys have any questions before I hop off the live portion? I can go back through Facebook and check any comments or questions that came through, and I'll post this right away for those of you that want to get started on planning your best year ever. I love the number 2017. Everything's possible. Everything you can imagine is real, right? It just takes a supportive plan to make it happen. And one of the things Periscope teaches us, so there's a lot of you on Facebook Live that aren't seeing some of the distractive people on Periscope, but as I've been talking, there's been hundreds of these trolls, we call them, popping into Periscope trying to add their noise. But we're such a focused group that we don't even pay attention to them, and they're getting frustrated, so they get louder and then they leave. And they teach us what happens in life when you're living a committed, very aligned life. You don't even care about the trolls anymore, so they can come and go, but they don't get anywhere. My favorite oils to diffuse throughout my day. Hey Lee. Hi Sarah. Oh, I'm going to see you guys next week. I'm so excited. My favorite oils to diffuse in the morning are peppermint and orange. I did that this morning. Actually, I have peppermint right here with me. It will always be my favorite oil of all time because there's hundreds of things I do with it. I actually had a bit of a nerve pain from a tooth. One drop, gone. I love it. So I diffuse that in the morning with orange. And then in the afternoon, I often do a blend with clary sage and lavender and orange. Orange is in a lot of the blends I diffuse. It's such a happy oil. It's the oil of abundance. At nighttime, I love the new Serenity, the reformulation of it. Yeah, Michaela, that's so cool. You just said the word boundary. So my word that just really deeply resonated last year, at the beginning of last year at this time, I knew I needed to have a new system with my time and with my boundaries. I was so aware of it. I knew that what had taken me to my success last year was not going to take me to the next level. And so boundaries was a really important word for me. And I knew that through creating that for myself, I would be teaching in the biggest way. So yeah, thanks for reminding me of that. Sue Hetherington, I know peppermint's your oil, babe. You guys need to go watch Sue's video. I think you can find it on her page. Touched my heart in a big way, girl. Yeah, Shelly, my unicorn blend. So I post a lot of blends on Instagram. You can find me there at HolFit HOL_FIT on Instagram. You'll see a lot of great blends on there. I have a blend I posted recently called Raise Your Vibe, which is great. My acronym of VIBE, raising your vibe. V standing for powerful visualization. I standing for integrating on calendar or paper. B standing for beautiful, bioavailable nutrition and supplements. And an E standing for energy out equals energy in. So getting that daily exercise. That's my definition of raise your vibe. People ask me about that all the time because I hashtag that constantly, you know, how we raise our vibe. And really it's about committing to living at a level that really triggers the people that don't belong in our groups and in our community, but really attracts the people that are interested in living at a different vibration, right? It's not foo-foo crazy talk. It actually, when you live that way, you know it, right? Hey Mary, Bulletproof Coffee, substantial enough for breakfast while pregnant. What I would encourage you to do, I think you need to have protein. Your body's growing a human, so I wouldn't be cutting protein out. You could do a variation of it using like a rooibos tea, so you're not getting that caffeine, or an organic Swiss water processed decaf as the base. But I would add in something like gelatin for protein. Yes, Cassie, the entire doTERRA spa line is super clean. So I took every single product and ran it through the environmental working group, and every single product was between a 1 and a 2. I think there was one that was a 3, which is super low on that scale of 1 to 10. I love the spa line. It's incredible. So even though some of the products have ingredients in them, you need to understand which ingredients do what. And if you go onto the environmental working group, if you type in the Skin Deep database, you'll actually understand what the ingredients are. Because sometimes people will read things like that have like sodium, some kind of a sulfate in them, and they assume it's a dangerous chemical, but it's actually not, right? So you need to go through that database and understand the ingredients in products. Okay, I gotta go. So I have loved being on here with you guys. Thanks for your questions. I'll try to hop on here in the next couple days and go through all the questions and answer anything that came up. For those of you that are watching the recording, you're welcome to share this with your teams. Please share the love, share the planning. Oh, my sister Shannon just joined. Say hi, Shannon. And I'm going to post the kit for creating your best year in 2017 right now, so you guys can get started on it. Love you all. Thanks for joining live, and we will see you on the other side of 2017. It's going to be a great year.